Holy One, as you have sent your Son to illumine our world, open our hearts to hear your word for us this sacred night, so that we might be transformed by the power of the gift you offer. Amen. Presbyterian pastor C.C. Armstrong tells the story of a little boy who desperately wanted to play the part of Joseph in the Christmas pageant. And although he was initially disappointed when he was cast as the innkeeper instead, as the story was being told on Christmas Eve that year, the creative child decided to improvise his lines. When Mary and Joseph arrived at the door, the crowd anticipated his response. "Sorry, there's no room at the inn." Instead, without missing a beat, the little boy answered, "Sure, I've got the best room in the place ready and waiting for you. You can have my room." For a moment, the audience was stunned that everyone broke out in laughter. When the family got home that night, his parents asked their son why he had changed this line. He told them that in Sunday school he had learned that because no one knows the time when Jesus will return, we should always be ready to give God our best. And then he noted, because God always makes room, we should too. Out of the mouths of babes. If you were here with us this morning when the children and youth told the nativity story in a lovely pageant, you know this to be true, even here, even today. And if you missed it, be sure to check out our Facebook page or YouTube page on Tuesday to watch the recording. What a wonderful gift the little boy in this story offers as he reminds us that ours is a faith based on always making room. God made room for the most unlikely birth in the most unlikely place, and then made even more room for some of the lowliest members of society as the shepherds arrived to witness the incredible event so that they could share the good news with the world. Every time we gather at the communion table, as we will in just a few moments, we share the invitation that all are welcome to come and be fed. There are no rules here, regardless of your belief, or even if you have no belief at all. You are welcome to the table where through the breaking of the bread, all may come to know the love of God made known through Jesus the Christ. Throughout the Advent season, we have been reflecting on the ways that we can rejoice even in such a time as this, when the world is so weary. As the daily news headlines carry stories about 2 wars that rage in Ukraine and Gaza, as the political headlines continue to highlight the deep divisions that exist in our country, and as violence seems to become more and more commonplace throughout the world, it is so easy to be weary. Yet, as we have focused on relationships and the themes that the biblical stories lift up in this season, we have realized the gifts of connection, of wonder and awe that bring us joy even in the most difficult of times. And things were truly difficult in the midst of those times when Jesus' birth happened, when the narrative tells us that people lived under the reign of despots like Caesar Augustus and King Herod. Mary and Joseph were forced to comply with a census that sent them from Nazareth to Bethlehem, about a 4-day journey, when Mary was 9 months pregnant. Talk about being weary. And yet, even then, whether in a stable or the innkeeper's own room, joy abounded as God made space to welcome all. Last month, our welcome team had the joy to meet with 12 guests at our Get Acquainted dinner the gathering that we hold regularly to enable new friends to get to know the church better as we also learn more about them. As it seems to happen every time for the past many years, every person present talked about how welcome they felt in this place and how they believed that they were fully accepted exactly as they are. And as it always does, it brought tears to my eyes then and now. On this special night, after more than a decade of serving with this congregation that I love with all my heart, I am bursting with joy to know that together we have grown to be a place where there is always room. Room to stand with those who need a chance to be seen and heard. Room to embrace those who are hurting, who are lost or hungry. Room for anyone who needs a place to know acceptance and love. And so tonight, as we celebrate the birth of the Messiah, the tiny baby who will soon change the world, we also celebrate that not only were shepherds and strangers welcome in Bethlehem, but that joy breaks forth even now as we continue to welcome tired and hurting folks today. Tonight, let us each pray not only for peace throughout the world, but that even when we are weary, we will continue to offer extravagant welcome to unlikely strangers in unlikely places. For it is then that we can rejoice together as we welcome the Christ child. Amen.